YouTube doesn't think you deserve to know when new videos get uploaded. Show them they're not the boss of you by smashing that bell icon, so you can be notified when your favorite content creators are begging for your attention. Previously on Supergirl, our heroine was uncomfortably close to becoming a full-blown pedophile. If you thought there was nowhere to go but up from here, then prepare to be disappointed. Fair warning, this installment is brought to us by Michael Grassi, one half of the writing team responsible for Fight or Flight. If that's not an omen, I don't know what is. Welcome back to the slippery slope. And so our episode begins, and it does not start promisingly. Two male drivers, and yes, they make that distinction very clear, are acting like assholes because they committed the unforgivable crime of being male. And make no mistake, on this show, that is a capital offense. Supergirl stops them just before they run over a bunch of oblivious kids in the middle of a deserted street. One would think they'd be grateful for her saving them from committing vehicular manslaughter, but instead, this man is such an irredeemable bastard that he's more upset that his ride got banged up and takes a swing at the woman who just stopped two speeding cars with her bare hands. Supergirl gets a tiny bit peeved at this lunatic, and because this episode has the subtlety of a brick, the media somehow makes the entire incident out to be her fault. Damn, if only we could get more female drivers on the road, this kind of thing would never happen, right, Supergirl?
It's always men who go crazy behind the wheel.
And they always leave the toilet seat up, too. I hate the penis. So Henshaw advises Supergirl to keep her temper under control, because her having a temper is a thing all of a sudden, go figure. Personally, I think her getting a little salty was understandable in this case, but only because the man she put the fear of God into was written like a monstrous over-the-top caricature instead of a human being. So, yeah, barely 3 minutes in and we're firmly back in girls rule, boys drool territory. Not a good sign. And not a good time to be introducing a male character from the Superman mythos either. General Sam Lane, I apologize in advance. This episode will not be kind to you. But before we get to that, we get to meet the infamous mother that Cat Grant has previously only spoken of through gritted teeth. If you thought the gender politics might subside while all the male characters are off screen, you really don't know what show you're watching.
So interesting, isn't it? A woman hero.
Because female soldiers, police officers, firefighters, and rescue workers certainly don't qualify as such. Ha 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 ha. Fuck you, show. Turns out Kat's mother is every bit the bile-spewing shrew Kat made her out to be, which puts Kat in an even more foul mood than usual. She then makes Kara work late, for completely justifiable reasons, mind you, but because it's office game night, Kara gets bent out of shape and interprets this as Kat being a big fat meanie. But then she makes it to office game night anyway, which is just 3 people and a +1 playing charades, so I'm not sure what the big deal was. This scene only seems to exist so Kara can get annoyed at James and Lucy flirting right in front of her, but since Kara seems to have the emotional maturity of a toddler this week, that's all the motivation she needs to be driven into a violent mood swing. Enter General Lane, played by Aaron Pierce from 24, so you know this guy is all business. Unfortunately, he's also a horribly written dumpster fire of a character. He makes it clear that he'd like to shut the DEO down because he believes the military can handle any problem without Supergirl's help, even though he literally just showed up to demand Supergirl's help. He has a scientist who's built a robot that he wants Supergirl to fight, because reasons. Little did he know that after watching her crush of just a few weeks flirt with another woman, Supergirl is now a volcano of rage just waiting to erupt, and Red Tornado here makes for a really convenient punching bag. So she smashes the robot without much trouble, and then things get really, 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 really stupid. It turns out that her beating up the robot has caused it to malfunction, go rogue, and take off to unleash all manner of havoc and devastation because of some cockamamie bullshit reasoning that makes no sense at all, and General Lane immediately blames Supergirl for this. So let's break this down. This idiot commissions a killer robot powerful enough to cause massive destruction to the city, installed exactly 0 safeguards to stop it from going rogue if the slightest thing went wrong with it, thus ensuring that the robot would be completely uncontrollable and no one short of a Kryptonian could possibly take it down, then orders Supergirl to fight the robot, knowing full well what could happen if it got damaged, choosing not to inform Supergirl about this possibility, and then blames her when it all inevitably blows up in his face. Are you fucking kidding me? And the bitch of it is, He's not even the villain of this episode, nor is his downright baffling incompetence as a high-ranking military officer ever brought up. He's actually being written this way on purpose for no other discernible reason than to be a straw man for the producer's ridiculously transparent anti-male agenda.
Your recklessness has unleashed an uncontrollable killing machine on National City.
Jesus Christ, the president must feel like a total jackass for putting this boob in charge of such a dangerous project, but since the president is apparently a woman on this show, that never comes up. Gee, I wonder why.
It's been signed by the president. You can take it up with her if you like.
But if anything at all goes wrong, we're totally blaming the whole thing on you. Suckers. And because the writers thought General Lane wasn't being obtuse enough to take the edge off a steak knife quite yet, he immediately fires Dr. Morrow, the scientist who built Red Tornado, even though he's certainly the most qualified person to help find the damn thing.
People this stupid shouldn't be allowed to live.
All this bullshit has put Kara in a very sour mood. So sour, in fact, that she actually takes her frustrations out on a woman? Damn, her anger issues are more serious than I thought. So Kara blows up at Kat, who just a few scenes prior had admonished Kara for unprofessional behavior in the workplace. On any normal show, this would be grounds for termination. But since Kat has shown a recent interest in encouraging the cutthroat streak in the girl who brings her her daily lettuce wrap, she instead takes her out for drinks and advises her to do some soul searching and figure out what she's really mad about, because under no circumstances is it ever acceptable for a woman to get angry in the workplace. You know, like Kat just did. It's another frustrating twist to add to the pile, but I guess if Kat didn't fire Kara for nearly getting her only son killed when she was supposed to be watching him, she wasn't gonna fire Kara for yelling at her in her office. No matter how cathartic it might be for the audience. And God knows I could use some catharsis after having to deal with the General. Get a load of this. Even though an uncontrollable killing machine was just unleashed upon National City on his watch, rather than, say, evacuating civilians or working on some kind of way to track this robot down before it starts racking up a body count, the General has decided to take the night off so he can take his daughter Lucy and James out to dinner just so he can have another excuse to act like a mean-spirited dick. And surprise, surprise, he doesn't approve of his daughter's taste in boyfriends.
Never trust a man who doesn't drink, because he's probably a self-righteous sort, a man who thinks he knows right from wrong all the time.
Or maybe he's an alcoholic, or he doesn't want the empty calories, or he doesn't like the taste, or he's on a cleanse which prohibits alcohol. Why is being a condescending jackass to every living thing your default mode?
You ally yourself with people you think are special. But that doesn't make you special.
And neither does being a Pulitzer Prize winner? God, this guy's a prick. No joke, the General is being written as such an intractable, bullying piece of garbage. I was honestly surprised that he didn't pull the race card at this point. Hell, he's been going below the belt at every other opportunity. Why stop now?
Glorified paparazzo.
I'll go lie down in traffic, you human pit stain. An eternity later, they're walking out of the restaurant, and who should confront them but Red Tornado? That uncontrollable killing machine the General was supposed to be hunting down this whole time? Now look at this scene carefully. Because even with everything that's come before it being as bad as it's been, the thing that kills the rest of the episode is right here. In their previous fight, Supergirl destroyed Red Tornado's arm. You might notice that the robot has since acquired a new one. Now do what none of these characters seem remotely capable of doing, and think. Who has the know-how, the means, and the motivation to replace that arm? Maybe Dr. Morrow. You know, the scientist who built Red Tornado, who was just fired from his own project by King Douchebag over here in a way he would obviously harbor a grudge about. Clearly, Dr. Morrow is the man behind this whole thing, and it doesn't take a genius to figure it out. This is just basic deductive reasoning and common sense. And not only do they not automatically assume he's the guy they're looking for because it just seems so fucking obvious, but these dumbasses are so utterly clueless that Alex needs Maxwell Lord of all people to spell it out for her that maybe, just maybe, the pissed off scientist who built the killer robot is the one who fixed it and is controlling it. Because they seriously couldn't figure that out themselves.
You're looking for Frankenstein's monster. You should be looking for Dr. Frankenstein.
Morrow's still controlling it.
No. Really? It's at this point that I just want to turn the episode off. There was no effort put into this whatsoever. This is the kind of lazy hack job that would get a student flunked out of a freshman screenwriting class. I would be embarrassed if my name were attached to this. And believe it or not, it actually gets worse. If you weren't already convinced that General Lane was the worst written character this side of Barry fucking Allen, check this out. Supergirl shows up. Unfortunately not too late to stop Red Tornado from putting the General out of my misery. She fights the robot off, but has to let it escape while she stops one of its tornadoes from destroying a city block and killing hundreds of people. Kara is actually being a good superhero in this scene. So of course, the General immediately chastises her for putting the more immediate threat and the safety of many innocent civilians that he's been sworn to protect ahead of throwing down with the unstoppable killing machine in the middle of a crowded city. And he doesn't stop there. He then threatens to hold the DEO accountable if Red Tornado attacks again, even though the DEO had no involvement in this operation whatsoever because he himself made it a point to go over their heads with a presidential order the minute he showed up. What even is this character? This entire mess was 100% his own damn fault. He wants to blame it all on the DEO, whose hands are clean for once, just to cover his own ass, and no one even bothers to call him out on it. Oh, Henshaw calls him out, but only because Henshaw learned that the General had Red Tornado specifically built as a Kryptonian deterrent. All that other stuff about screwing over Henshaw's division and getting it shut down so the General doesn't have to clean up his own mess. Nah, fuck that noise. We're just gonna leave that crap alone. After putting up with all this garbage, Kara's in the mood to punch something. A mood which frankly mirrors my own right now, so she and James work out their aggression to get to the root of what's really eating at them. And here's where we take a hard left turn into WTF territory, because apparently what's really got Kara foaming at the mouth with rage is not having to deal with this anthropomorphic turd, but actually the fact that she can't have a normal life. You might think that comes completely out of nowhere and makes no goddamn sense at all. And I'm right there with you. Pissed that you can't have a normal life? Kara, you had a normal life in the fucking pilot and you were bored and unsatisfied with it. You've been gung-ho about having a life that's not normal for 5 episodes straight. But now, from out of nowhere, this is suddenly a burning issue? Now you're suddenly tortured by the fact that your parents sent you to Earth when that never once seemed to bother you before? Where in the blue hell is all this coming from? I'll tell you where it's coming from. It's coming out of the writer's ass. None of these things were ever an issue for Kara before. We were never given the slightest indication that she was bothered by any of that stuff until this week, when the writers had to make up a bunch of contrived nonsense to explain the short temper Kara suddenly acquired, which never existed before this episode either, by the way. The whole thing just feels completely disingenuous and phony, and comes off like nothing but a transparent cover to hide the fact that Kara's really just angry that the boy she likes is kissing someone else, because that's literally the one and only issue here that was set up beforehand. Get the fuck over it already! It's kind of a shame, because watched in isolation, this scene is actually pretty good. There's some solid acting from Melissa Benoist here, and she conveys Kara's inner turmoil very well. But the piss-poor writing lets her down to the point where that just doesn't mean anything. The actors are trying here. Unfortunately for them, they seem to be the only ones. Anyway, they project a hologram of the General to lure Red Tornado into a final showdown. Wait, if he's a hologram, why is he casting a shadow? Oh, who cares? Let's just get through this. So while Supergirl dukes it out with the robot again, the DEO sciences a way to track down Dr. Morrow, and then proceeds to send in Alex alone to capture him. No one else, no backup, just Alex by herself. So they don't have a strike team or a commando unit to handle stuff like this? I mean, since Alex apparently performs about half the jobs in this clown shoes operation, you'd think she'd be too valuable of an agent to be sending on solo missions without assistance of any kind when literally any field agent could perform the same task. Oh, but I guess if they did that, they'd miss out on a golden opportunity to show Alex kicking the ass of another one of those evil penis havers. And God knows we can't pass that up, because #feminism. So Alex kills Dr. Morrow, but then Red Tornado magically becomes sentient because they needed to pad the episode by a minute or two, so Supergirl is forced to channel all the rage that's been building up all episode long into her heat vision to finally destroy this thing. And this part is great. No joke. It's the one genuinely powerful scene in this entire shit show. The music, acting, editing all fits together terrifically to create a pretty captivating final sequence. Sadly, since all that anger was a bunch of contrived BS, the end result doesn't resonate like it should. But I give credit where it's due, and the actor and production team brought it here, so let no one say I'm being unfair. Now prepare yourselves for a shock. Because even though the DEO fixed the problem that he himself created, General Lane is still the same insufferable straw man prick he was at the start of the episode. Imagine that. So this experience hasn't changed him whatsoever, because if it had, then that would make him an actual character with layers and dimensions and stuff, and obviously the writers would have no use for something like that. And still, no one even tries to slap some sense into him. The closest we get to that is Lucy resigning from his command. Wait, how do you just resign from the military? Wouldn't she have to wait to be discharged or something? Also, Wynn digs up some info on Alex's dad. Apparently he disappeared while on a mission with Henshaw, after which Henshaw claimed to not remember anything. So they're still on this thing about Henshaw being untrustworthy, even though that really doesn't hold water at all anymore after the way we've seen him acting for several episodes now, and honestly just comes off like a bunch of bullshit at this point. And Kat even defends Kara from her mother after the old bat chews Kara out for not getting her that car she never told her to get.
My assistant, who, by the way, is excellent at her job.
Unless that job includes babysitting, right, Kat? Or are you pretending How Does She Do It never happened? I know I'd sure as hell like to do that. Then Kara cuts her finger on a piece of broken glass. And after spending the entire episode being angry that she can't have a normal life, the episode ends with Kara having somehow gotten her wish after all. It's a pretty well done cliffhanger that's unfortunately weighed down by all the terrible writing and utter nonsense that built up to it. And quite frankly, after having to suffer through General Lane for this entire episode, I just can't bring myself to care. They made this guy an absolute chore to watch. An incompetent, mean-spirited, narrow-minded dickhead who undergoes no change, no development, and is really only there as a vehicle to piss other characters off. But even with how much the writers made this guy such a miserable piece of crap, I suppose I should be grateful that at the very least, they didn't fall back on their favorite go-to male character trait of having no respect for Supergirl just because
She's blonde.
I hate this episode and everyone associated with it. Jesus H. Christ, what the hell happened here? Every single one of the show's worst qualities is on full display this week. The infantile views on feminism, the lazy predictable plot twists, the demonizing of anyone with a penis, the boring-ass relationship melodrama, the characters all acting like idiots, the complete disregard for continuity. It's as if they took all the worst things that didn't make the cut for the first 5 episodes and crammed them all into this one. Even on a show whose previous episodes strongly implied that its title character was creepily attracted to a 12-year-old boy, this one somehow managed to lower the bar even further. And I would certainly be remiss if I didn't single out this thing for some special attention. Very rarely have I seen a character so thoroughly vilified that he ceases to be a character and becomes nothing but a sock puppet for the producer's identity politics and an excuse for the writers to churn out the laziest script imaginable. There is nothing redeemable about the way the General is written. Even if he were meant to be a villain, it still wouldn't excuse this. I feel like someone in the writer's room probably intended him to simply be a stern, disapproving authority figure, but in execution he comes off like a delusional, incompetent, irrational jackass who blames everyone but himself for his own fuck-ups.
This is your fault.
And hell, it's damn near impossible to not consider him the true villain here, when even the slightest application of common sense on his part could have stopped Red Tornado from ever becoming a problem in the first place! When friggin' Smallville had a more nuanced take on this character, you know something has gone seriously off the rails. General, please, just stick to the comics from now on and never darken my TV screen again. This is one of those episodes that make you lament the 43 minutes of your life that were just flushed down the toilet. The one genuinely good sequence where Supergirl destroys Red Tornado couldn't do anything to redeem the mess that came before it. At most, it elevated an absolutely putrid installment to something that was just plain terrible. I can't remember the last time I regretted having wasted my time watching something so much. An absolutely miserable episode from start to finish, and certainly a new low for Supergirl Season 1. Now let us never speak of it again. If you enjoy the show, and that's my show, not Supergirl, then share this video around. Hit subscribe, smash the thumbs up, rock that bell icon to be notified when new videos get uploaded, and other stuff just like that. I'll be back soon to continue my descent into the abyss that is the Berlanti-verse. Until then, I'm Thorias. Over. Out.
I work so hard for you. I don't ask questions, I don't complain, and all you do is yell at me and tell me I'm not good enough, and it's mean. Why are you so mean?
Hey, Kara? Remember in the previous episode when you ditched Kat's only child who you were supposed to be babysitting, which led to him boarding a train with a bomb on it? Shut the fuck up.